everybody! Welcome back to Lounging with Lo. This is part 2 of Disney's villains. I'm your host, Lo, as always. We thank you so much for joining me today. Part 1, we talked about the villains and villainesses who do not have the special ability or have magic. This one, we're going to talk about the ones that do. But before we begin, I want to let you guys know that, again, you can follow me on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Those are my social media platforms. Additionally, you can share the links from my Facebook page to the major streaming services I have. iHeartRadio, Pandora Radio, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify to your friends and family who may also enjoy the content. If any of the villains that I've mentioned in this podcast, just like I did with the other one, are very new to you or you have no idea who they are, I recommend that you watch the movies and you come back to the episode because there are going to be some spoilers that are part of the character. So we have these villains that are probably born with these abilities to have magic, or they were taught by somebody else. We don't know that. They don't even know the backstories of these. We're going to talk about those villains today in this part 2. Let's start off part 2 with Hades.
Ba-boom. Name is Hades, Lord of the Dead. Hi, how you doing?
He can be incredibly meticulous, cunning, and scheming. He's a schemer because he tried to scheme his way to take over Mount Olympus and get rid of his brother, Zeus, the god of thunder. He also tried to eliminate his nephew, Hercules, as a baby because, he's the next in line. But he failed that plan as well. His abilities as a villain is immortality, pyrokinesis and other kinesis, alchemy, and dominion over the dead. Now, just like I mentioned in the Disney Princesses about Pocahontas, Disney takes a different approach with Hades as well. Hades is actually part of Greek mythology. According to the mythology, Hades never really emerged from his realm. He never judged or tortured the guilty after death, but he was a supervisor of the trial and punishment of the wicked. He was actually married, which I didn't know that, and he was given a Roman name. His name was Pluto, which means wealth because of the god of Earth's fertility, or because he gathered all the living things to his treasury. Who knows? James Wood provided the voice in the animated film, and Greg Germann portrayed him in the Once Upon a Time. Yes, you've probably heard that name and you've probably seen him before. It is Dr. Tom Karasik from Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, he did a pretty good job with that too. James Wood majored in political science at MIT as an undergraduate, but he was part of a theater group called Drama Shop. So he decided to drop out of MIT in 1969 right before his graduation to pursue an acting career. There's got to be a theme here. Because if you recall from my Disney Princesses, we had the actresses who decided to go to college for a certain major, but they dropped out because they had the ability to catch the acting bug, and they left college. Next one we're going to talk about is Yzma. Now, she appeared in 2000 in the film The Emperor's New Groove. Great movie. She is an evil sorceress and a former advisor to Emperor Cusco. Now, she was fired because, she was obsessed with taking over the kingdom and basically wanted his role. And he wasn't happy about that.
Oh, and by the way, you're fired.
Fired? What do you mean, fired?
Now, according to Cusco, she's gone through a lot of assistance. Because, being a royal advisor takes a lot out of you. So he just needed somebody to kind of give her a hand. So, this year's model, as Cusco would call it, it's Kronk. We're going to talk about Kronk later on in the Disney Sidekicks podcast episode, so be aware for that. Yzma is a chemist, but unfortunately she doesn't know her own potions because she thought she had a poison potion for Cusco, but it turned out it was a llama.
This isn't poison. This is extract of llama. Ugh.
Yeah, gotta work on your labeling there, Yzma. Eartha Kitt. I think this role was perfect for her. She did great. Now, did you guys know that she actually started her career off as a dancer? Yes, at the age of 16. She toured all over the world, United States, Mexico, South America, and all over Europe. She's also known for originally singing the Christmas song Santa Baby back in the 1950s. Here's an interesting fact I found from my research I wanted to share with you guys. And this probably would be a little bit more towards the ones who've actually seen this TV series before. In the film Emperor's New Groove, there is a scene where Yzma gets transformed into a cat. I think some of you guys are knowing where I'm going with this, but I'll tell you anyway. This is a tribute to Eartha Kitt because in the 1966 TV series Batman, she was Catwoman. Yes, there was another actress who played her too, but she's more well known for that one. But Eartha Kitt decided to give her acting skills a try to be Catwoman. So we have another royal Disney villain, and her name is the Evil Queen from the 1937 Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs film. She is the very first Disney villain to be introduced into the Disney franchise. So we thank you, Evil Queen, for bringing your villainess to the franchise to be the stepping stone of what we all have seen the Disney villains in our lifetime. She is an icily beautiful woman who has a serene, unfeeling face along with a very slender figure. But when she turns into the old peddler woman, wow, what a complete 180. She's very ugly, has warts all over her nose, and is very stringy hair. But she had to do that because she didn't want Snow White to recognize her. She has the possessive powers to brew her own potions, has the generative abilities to generate lightning, wind, and poison, along with the ability to gain accurate insight into a question or a situation through her magic mirror.
Slave in the magic mirror, come from the farthest space. Through wind and darkness I summon thee.
The Evil Queen is ranked number 10 in the AFI's 100 Years, 100 Heroes and Villains list, and is one of the highest ranked in front of Man from the film Bambi, who was ranked number 20, and Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians, who was ranked number 39. Lucille Laverne played in the original films. We thank you, Lucille. Lana Parrilla from Once Upon a Time. She portrayed her as Regina. She did an amazing job with this character in the Once Upon a Time TV series. I loved her twist on it. She did an amazing job. Here's a cool thing I learned about Lucille Laverne. She actually was appointed manager and director of the Empire Theater in Richmond, Virginia back in 1898, where she staged many plays, and she even wrote an adaptation of A Christmas Carol, which that adaptation was used by other theaters in the early 1900s. She was then awarded the Woman of the Year award by the Virginia Women's Society in 1901. Congratulations, Lucille. Ursula. Yes, I was wondering, everybody's wondering, well, what are you going to talk about my favorite Disney villain of Ursula? She's my favorite from The Little Mermaid. Well, here we go. This is for all you guys. She's our next Disney villain that we're going to talk about. Now, I may be saying this incorrectly because I'm not really good with scientific names, but she's part of a race named Caecilia, something like that. Well, but she's half woman, half octopus. Highly intelligent. Very calculated, but can be arrogant, egotistical, but can underestimate her opponents when they are up against her. A villainous sea witch she is, that strikes deals with merfolk, but then turns them into polyps in her garden outside of Atlantica if they don't come through on their end of the deal with Ursula. Now, I did find a very brief backstory of how she became this way. She was a resident in King Triton's palace before she was exiled, and she vowed right then and there to get her vengeance. So she worked in the palace for a while, grew envious, wanted to take over. King Triton wasn't happy about it. Sayonara. So she decides to do this. She has to figure out a way to get a plan. Well, she notices Ariel. We talked about Ariel in the Disney Princesses podcast back a few months ago. She decides to strike a deal with Ariel. And if you guys remember the deal was in 3 days she had to get the prince to kiss her so she can be able to remain human. But if she didn't, she'd go back to her mermaid and she would belong to Ursula.
Your pretty face. And don't underestimate the importance of body language.
Well, there was really that big close call, Ursula decided to take matters into her own hands. Used magic and the potions that she had in her possession to make herself a beautiful, dark brown woman by the name of Vanessa. My research calls her the Disney Princess Mean Girl. But what's weird about this is on top of that, she's using Ariel's voice. What? That's a big twist. The late Pat Carroll provided the voice of the villain in 1989. She did an amazing job, and you can see TikTok videos of her doing, people asking her, do the voice of Ursula, please, 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 and she does it. It's just, it's awesome. Maren Dungy, she's best known for being Francie, who is Jennifer Gardner's friend in Alias, from the once she portrayed Ursula in Once Upon a Time. Now, Pat wanted to be a part of the Disney Empire and did the audition for Ursula 6 times. Then 1 year after the audition, she got the call. She's also known for playing Prunella in the 1965 film Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. She said that she loved the TV acting and film acting, and that's what was like the best thing for her. She loved it. We have Maleficent. She's our next Disney villain.
You poor simple fools. Thinking you could defeat me, the mistress of all evil.
Now, Maleficent is the most recognizable and popular villain, along with being one of the most primary members of the franchise in Disney history. She is a malevolent fairy with the incarnation of pure evil and is responsible for the misfortune in King Stephen's kingdom. Very ruthless, dark, devious, tenacious, sinister, and haughty. But when it comes to her pet raven, Diablo, which is what we never really heard the name, but that's what this says in my research, she shows genuine care. Now, when we were first introduced to this character in the film Sleeping Beauty, the animated one, we never really knew a backstory of how she became evil. She just, bam, became evil. Here we go. There's your villain. But we have to thank Disney because they decided to do a remake of Sleeping Beauty, but have a little bit of a twist to help people understand who Maleficent was. So in the movie, she is a good fairy and has lived a very good, peaceful life until she meets King Stephen, I'm sorry. She's then betrayed, and that's when everything changed. Now, I don't want to get too much into it because we're going to be talking about the live-action remake here, and there's a big twist here, and I'm so excited, but I want you guys to find the movie and watch it yourselves. So as I mentioned in the first part, Eleanor Ludley was who played Lady Tremaine. She was the voice of Maleficent in this film. We also have had other actresses portray this character. Kristen Bauer Van Straten in the Once Upon a Time, and the wonderful, talented Angelina Jolie in the live-action origin story. And, of course, Kristen Chenoweth, who is best known for being in Wicked. For all my musical fans out there, she was Maleficent in the Descendants franchise. Now, unfortunately, we have one last Disney villain. I know, guys. I know you guys were so excited, but we're going to talk about Jafar. He's from Aladdin. Now, he has the most important job in Agrabah.
What? Who?
The Royal Vizier. Well, that would be me.
Well, as you mentioned, you're probably wondering, well, what in the world is a Royal Vizier, Lauren? Well, a Royal Vizier is the most trusted and loyal advisor to the Sultan. Now, when the Sultan's not around, he has a very big secretly dislike for him. And he wants the magic lamp that's in the Cave of Wonders so he can be able to take over as Sultan. He carries a snake-headed staff and constantly uses it to manipulate the Sultan by hypnotizing him because of his hunger and lust for power. So here's how you can describe the personality of Jafar. He's an immoral psychopath. But he doesn't hesitate to destroy anyone who threatens his design, and he's also a narcissist. He's attracted to Jasmine mainly for her physical appearance and not as a person. Remind you of anybody? Yes, Gaston. His ability is alchemy, or what we call a magician or a sorcerer. He's got a wonderful sense of master of disguise, and the phenomenal cosmic power when he becomes a genie. To quote Robin Williams in this one,
Phenomenal cosmic powers!
Jafar's character doesn't stop at the animated film. He appears on Once Upon a Time and in the live-action remake 2019 with Marwan Kenzari. Jonathan Freeman provided the voice in the animated film. And here's a cool fact I learned about Jonathan. Jonathan graduated from Ohio University. He's an alum Bobcat. Go Bobcats. Didn't know he was a local boy. But he's also done many Broadway shows and has even been nominated for a Tony for his Best Actor featured in a musical for She Loves Me back in 1994. Well, guys, that's all the Disney villains I have for you. If there are any villains that I did not mention that you want me to talk about, let me know, and I will do a podcast episode just for you guys. But I want to thank you so much for tuning in, where we have discussed all the Disney villains. Ones who have the magical powers and one that does not. I hope that you enjoyed the discussion as much as I much enjoyed giving you the facts and looking them up and being bamboozled and puzzled myself with all the interesting facts. I want you to join me next time as we delve into the world of the Disney Prince. That's Prince, not the artist formerly known as Prince. We're going to talk about all the male princes in the film as well, so don't want to miss out on that. We're going to talk about that next time. Again, let's lounge together. Bye, guys.